There's not exactly a.
Good. All right, it's 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Any approvals, additions, deletions of the agenda? No? You got meeting minutes from May 4th. You guys had a chance to look at those? Can I get a motion on those?
I'll make a motion in a second. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Business guests, Rob with Commonwealth.
Thank you. Do you want me to wait till old business to present the change order or how you?
No? You can go with it.
So I'm here tonight. I'll talk about it even though I'm not here. To, I guess, represent change order 4 for Atlas. My engineer Riley was up last week. It wasn't, ready for approval at that time. We didn't get that to you guys in time to get on the agenda. Plus, as he was talking through it, my understanding is you folks had some questions about a couple of the items that were on there. So I wanted to come up tonight, go through what the change order includes with the board again, and then obviously answer any questions that you might have. Simeon has added some supplemental support documentation to the packet that I've placed in front of everybody in response to some of the discussion you guys had last week, and then I'll get to this when we talk about the sidewalk on West Bend. We did some follow up investigation, I guess that's where to put it, with NDOT, and got some updated information. I believe there was an inquiry as to whether there might be some NDOT project coming along before we signed off on some sidewalks. So I got some updates on that. I'm just going to go through. There's 5 items on this change order. I'll jump to the end and then I'll go back to the beginning. The net impact of what I'm presenting tonight will actually be a deduct or a credit back to the project contingency in the amount of $3,583.22. The impact of this change order also adds 120 days to the contractual substantial completion date for Atlas, taking it from September, actually it takes it to September 21st, 2026 of this year would be their updated substantial completion date if the board approves change order as presented. And then the net between substantial completion and what we call final, meaning everything's done and ready for final payment, remains the additional 30 days. That doesn't increase. Contractually, it's currently 30 days beyond the substantial completion date. That just carries forward. So then final completion would be October 21st, 2026. A bit of background on the request. The contractor originally brought to the project team's attention back in September of last year during construction meeting number 3 that they had gotten in that there might be an issue with respect to supply chain and materials associated with some of the small diameter plumbing that's associated with this project. At that time, the completion date by contract was May of 2026. It's been my position, not just on your project, but any construction project that I've worked on over the years, that yes, the contractor fulfilled their obligations to put me on notice that there is a potential for them to be delayed due to conditions beyond their control. But because I was notified, or we were notified in September, and we still had the better part of 8 months of actual contractual time, my position was, let's just monitor how things go, knowing that you've done your required contractual thing and put us on notice. And then as we get closer to your actual completion date, we'll revisit this. So that's basically what has happened here. Fast forward to April, and during construction meeting number 10, we were reminded that they previously put us on notice that there was a potential issue for supply chain, and that had came to fruition, along with us asking them to hit pause on some of the other contractual work. The formal request had been made for a time extension. Our office reviewed it, and after a little bit of back and forth, we came to an agreement with the contractor and ultimately landed on the 120 days that are formally being presented as a part of this change order number 4. By doing that, we'll still have obviously coverage from an inspection standpoint within the original project budget. So it's not going to cost the town any additional monies out of pocket. Everything is covered. But this kind of closes the loop on the original notification that we received back in September of last year. So that's item 1 of the change order. I can go through the other items, or we can hit pause and have some dialogue as we go. It's up to you guys how you want me to do this.
I don't have any questions on this.
I'm good on that part.
Okay.
And there, as a part of this packet, everybody has one. I'll ultimately need one copy signed. There's meeting minutes from that September meeting and some email correspondence justifying everything that I'm talking about tonight. The second item on the list, which I believe, may have raised some flags last week, is, putting in some additional sidewalk on West Benton. And the question that came up was, there may or may not be an upcoming NDOT project that could potentially capture this work as well, and why should we spend money if NDOT's gonna come through at some point and do the same thing? I agree. We did get on NDOT's website, and they did identify a West Benton Street project. However, it currently shows a letting of 2033. So we're 7-8 years down the road. The other thing that wasn't readily apparent was the project description that is on their website as to specifically whether or not or how much sidewalk would be included in that project. So we kept this additional sidewalk on the change order, knowing that we're not talking about 1 or 2 years. We're talking about 6 or 7 years down the road before this potentially comes to fruition. And felt like now's the time to do it. We've got the opportunity to do it. Let's just get it knocked out. So that we did do our homework on the NDOT project, and that's what we found.
You didn't call them personally or contact them, just look at the website?
We did just look at their website, yes. The other 3 items remain unchanged as to what was on the change order as it was presented last Monday night. There's some water main / sidewalk work out on 352. That's more of a balance between some unit price bid items, but the net result is a savings of $42,305.10. We're going to put in some additional cut and caps in support of water line abandonment, and that pricing was quoted as $18,396.38. And then it's a net zero impact to initiate phase 3 of verifying service line materials, or the pothole verification that was dated March of 2026. So when all's said and done, just to kind of go back to where I started this discussion, we're looking at a net credit back to the contract of $3,583.22, and also extending the substantial completion date, meaning all work needs to be completed to the beneficial use of the town, excluding any punch list items, by 120 days, which takes it out to September of this year, and then that would make final completion, including all restoration of the punch list items, occurring on or before October of this year.
Does this also mean we're adding almost 39,000 to our loan through SRF?
We're not adding too long at all. That's just, he's identifying where it's getting paid. Those are how the bid items were set.
Okay. So we're not adding.
Amount remains unchanged.
So for that's that sidewalk on West Benton, that's not adding to the loan, 20,000.
It's your debt, the total amount of your debt remains unchanged. It's all built within the current project budget.
What about the sidewalk on 352?
That was under the EDA portion.
I just did this as relocated water main.
It's it's a combination of sidewalk, relocated water main, and utility adjustments that ends up being a net quantity adjustment that results in a deduct of $42,000. But that's under the DDA scope because it's out on 353.
Because it was moved to not have to encase it.
I don't know if you guys have actually seen the pay applications that you sign when you submit, but there's dozens of individual pay items. And this 42,305 is a net combination of 3 or 4 different pay items that results in an adjustment that deducts or 42,305.10. One of the things, Nate, too, I know that Cindy had made a comment that we're certainly aware of where the money is being spent out of. And I can tell you that SRF has done you guys a favor because normally the protocol is you spend the loan money first and then you spend the grant money. And then if you don't spend all the grant money, you qualify. SRF, for whatever reason, is and has almost spent down the entire forgivable bond of theirs before they have spent down the actual loan that has the interest rate on it. So in that scenario, unfortunately, because it usually doesn't happen that way, I can also tell you that if you recall, as a part of your financing on the lead line money, there are two components to that. There's a forgivable component grant, and there's a zero interest loan component. They haven't touched the loan. So all the lead line related things that we have presented today, including tonight, are going to be paid out of a forgivable bond.
Right.
Again, that's never happens. That's not their normal protocol. We're extremely fortunate, and I'll take every time that I get that. Be mindful that if we walked away now, there's still $2 million of zero interest loan money that's in the pay tax.
Right.
Now, there's certainly discussion for another time with you guys on whether or not you want to use it or not, or how you want to use it. I don't need decisions on that tonight because we need to finish out the contract first. But there are discussions being had and opportunities that SRF is kicking around on their end that might consider converting that money to an equivalent traditional amount that would afford you the opportunity to use it maybe on water main further out West Benton, or actually do some of the work at the water plant as opposed to going in on like we did on this most recent funding application and borrowing more money. There may be, I can't commit to anything, but they're certainly kicking it around. There may be opportunity within our current rate structure and the current money that we have obligated for the Atlas contract. If there's money left over, there may be opportunity to convert that to open up what eligibility items are included. So just, I'm throwing that out there now. I don't have 100% guarantee, but I certainly know that they're kicking that idea.
What was that potential amount?
Well, the current amount is $2 million. All right, but that's if you spend it. Let's just say that's if we replace service lines. Okay. If they were to convert it to what they refer to as traditional money, $2 million may become 1.5. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't impact your debt service because it's an equivalent, right? 2 million at zero is 1 million at whatever that rate is.
Sure.
The rates are what the rates are. But what it would allow you to do is instead of only being able to replace water, water services, maybe you could then take that and do all the work out the water plant.
Sure.
Right? No guarantees, but they're certainly bouncing that around. So That's kind of where that stands budget-wise.
Yeah, I guess I was just,
The funds we got are the funds we got. That doesn't change. We're not adding to your debt. We're not requiring you to take out more money. We're working within the budget that we had when Atlas did the job and we closed on financing.
Mhm.
Likely a poor choice of words, but he's learning. He came out of here a little bruised, but that's part of the learning process. It's more of a characterization on which pile of money it's getting paid out of that you currently have access to. That's probably a better way to explain it. But that being said, again, as I mentioned earlier, not going to question them, but for whatever reason, however reason, they've been spending all of that money first before they spend down the road. So if we get everything done we want to get done, and you guys are happy and there's loan money left, you can certainly give it back and then have your rate consultant reassess your rates and decide if that's something you want to consider or not. But we're not at that bridge to cross yet.
I was just thinking, because I understand that that pool of money is there regardless, but had they not made that decision, which I'm not arguing that it was a bad decision, just if they had not made that decision, then the money for the sidewalk wouldn't have came out of SRF, because they would have just had the EDA money. I think that's where we were all looking at.
It would have come from
the
which money? You talking of which pot? Are you talking about the 42?
Where they had to relocate the water main and then add that sidewalk portion, because that wouldn't even have been it wouldn't even have been a discussion if they hadn't had to take up the sidewalk.
That would have come out of EDA regardless. That wasn't paid for with SRF.
Right, but isn't that now coming from SRF?
No, it's still in the EDA pile.
the additional West Benton Street sidewalk.
That was always in SRF.
Because that's on the other
That's
end.
west.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was never, even though EDA wants to call it a one big project, that was always.
We were getting our directions mixed up. We were thinking this sidewalk out here was that 20,000, because the only reason that was pulled up was to shift that pipe over so it didn't have to be encased. Yeah.
It's always been this way.
So sidewalk out there is gonna be EDA or by the Dollar General?
Yes, that's EDA now. And that EDA piece came with its own contingency too, so trying to maximize that as best we can. Because that obviously is grant, even though it's kind of wonky how you gotta get access to the funds, but, you know. Basically, once you turn by the gas station on the phone and start heading out, that's all you do.
Is that all gonna be ADA compliant as well?
I'm pretty sure your rule is when you replace, you don't have a choice. It has to be. And that's why some of the numbers, you may think, wow, $18,000 for sidewalk. Well, it's because it's got the ramps and everything else.
We don't have any other questions.
I do. Do you have a question? I have a question about these setters.
Mhm.
You know, when we talked earlier, I think Alliance was here and you guys said you guys really never heard of that before, but we're having so much trouble. What's the cause? There has to be a cause.
The check valves, you know, I mean.
Do we get bad check valves or what?
You didn't have check valves before. Right,
But
your
when
meter,
we were talking that day, you guys acted like you guys never heard of that, ever happening before.
the comments from my standpoint, is I've never had this situation when I've replaced meter setters in communities where we've had, private residential plumbing or fail. You know, we've
Cause
got,
I'm worried that we're gonna do this project and then we're still gonna have lots of trouble afterwards.
well,
You're gonna be out of town.
I'm not. I mean, we're obviously gonna take responsibility for everything that we do. And I also want to make a recommendation to you guys on the meter setters tonight. We can either do that now, or you want to wait on the change order. My recommendation on the meter setters is we authorize Atlas to disable the check valve. I think we keep the setters, because it's a better installation for you in the long run and your staff because of ease of replacing meters down the road. You're supposed to replace your meters every 10 years anyway. To be able to access meters, if somebody moves out, you got to do a disconnect and pull a meter for whatever reason, or you have a bad reading, you need to replace a meter. Having them in the setters where you could isolate, shut off water on either side and pull the meter out is way better than what you had before, because before you didn't have it, right? Everything was basically hard piped into the water service going in. These new setters have check valves to prevent backflow. And we've had some situations where it's created increased pressure on the customer side. Those check valves can be disabled, right? We can go in and disable the check valves on every one of the setters that we've installed so far, and then we can disable the check valves on the setters that we haven't installed yet. That still allows us to install the setters. You still get the benefit of having a better installation at each property because the setter is there. If and when, whether it's this board or another board, 5, 10, 15 years from now, a situation comes up where you get cross-contamination, like who knows why, because there was a fire on the other side of town and they hooked to a hydrant and it sucked it and it created a vacuum and somebody had a meth lab and it sucked a bunch of stuff and contaminated it. I don't know, right? But you'll still have the pieces to go back and retrofit
That's what I was going
the
to say.
setter. We're not losing any of the material. We're just going to disable that feature, put the nut back on it, and then go on about life. So you're going to have the same hydraulic situation that you had before we ever got started. It's going to go back to the way it was, only now you're actually going to have the proper installation for the meter with the setter, this cradle, right? So that it facilitates maintenance and replacement.
What, I mean, is it something that, how hard or difficult is it to, one, disable and then two, reinstall if you need to later on down the road? The check valve, that is.
It's
I wouldn't think it'd be that hard.
It's a $347 cost by our contractor, and we're paying him premium rates. So we're not getting charged for any of them that they haven't installed yet, because that's how easy it is. My instruction to Simeon was, after I present my recommendation to you guys, if it's accepted by you, is that we arrange a meeting with Jordan and anybody else from a town employee standpoint and Atlas, so we can show them exactly what we're doing and show them exactly how to put it back together. We can take video of it. We'll have all kinds of documentation, but we've got 400 of these things, either from houses that are occupied. I think there's 370 of them that are in occupied dwellings, and then another 25 or 30 that were either vacant or just lots that have been installed. Those are the ones that have a little bit of cost, because there's a little bit of effort to get down into the pit and unscrew it and pull it out and then put the screw back on. But what I told my people was, let's coordinate with the town. Let's set up a time where we can get them over, show them exactly what we're doing, show them how we took it apart, show them how we're going to put it back together when and if that time comes, and then all those pieces will be turned over to you guys.
I mean, that could even be as easy as a tabletop. Bring a setter in here that hasn't been installed yet and show it, rather than doing it, 7 heads staring down into a pit. You know what I mean?
The easy one is to bring one in, to whether it's the utility building or bring it in here and say, this is what we're going to do.
Yep.
Very easy to do. No impact on the project. But I also want them to witness one being done in the field.
Correct.
So there is no surprise, right?
Yeah.
That's my recommendation. It puts it back hydraulically to the way it was, but yet we still get the added benefit of having a proper meter setter installation for you guys on the meter. Not gonna put in any of these wonky pressure blow off valves or any of that other stuff.
And everybody's taking care of that way,
We're gonna
instead
do
of individually.
We're gonna do the ones that have already been installed. We're gonna modify the ones that haven't been installed yet. And even those folks that have those thermal expansion tanks, we're gonna do those too.
Right. the other question, you said, what's it, I mean, nominally,
It's $347 per meter bill is what we were quoted.
to go back and pull.
Disable the check valves.
And didn't you say to me, not the last time, because Simeon was here and you weren't, but the last time you were here, we discussed this. And you said that wouldn't be any additional charge to us? You're saying 300 per meter pit, but now I may have heard wrong, but I was,
Yeah, I
I was
don't-
thinking that there wasn't.
This is value added, right? It's part of the meter installation. This is something that would be a cost to the contractor that would come out of our contingency funds. I don't recall telling you that I wasn't gonna charge you.
I
for
may have,
this.
I felt like you said that there was some.
What we
funds
talked
that we
about
did.
was the thermal expansion tanks aren't eligible. We looked at these PRVs or expansion valves. I ultimately am not comfortable with those because unless I can install them at the water heater, there's no guarantee that they're gonna blow off before something else fails inside of these homes. The fail-safe solution is let's just disable the check valve. That puts it back to the way it was. And, we move on. We still have the ability down the road to go, reinstall the check valves,
Well, I get that. I was just talking about the.
which is prudent. Don't get me wrong, but, your water system is 75 or 80 years old.
I think it's important that
Yeah,
it helped, well, that we do it for sure, but
It's
that
been-
everyone has the security of knowing that that isn't gonna be an issue going forward.
There is no exception. If you're gonna do it for one, you do it for all. Right? We're not just gonna do the ones that we haven't installed yet. We're gonna do everybody, including the ones that were already installed. This comes out of the lead line money. It doesn't come out of any of the traditional money.
What
Yeah.
does the additional cost?
The additional cost would come out of
That's still the grant money.
the grant money for the lead line, because it's lead line eligible money. Doesn't come out of the loan component.
And maybe that's the part that I understood that it was covered,
Well, that's why we carry contingency funds for situations.
okay.
I'll go back to answer Tina Kaufman's question to me is I had no expectation whatsoever that we would have this situation. Farthest from my mind. I've never run into it before. I want to say this is an Oxford thing because I guarantee you there are other communities in the state that have poorly installed internal pump, right? It happens. This is an unforeseen condition. I had no expectation that we were going to run into this. Now, we put in, 370 of these, and a vast majority haven't had issues yet, all right? But if we're going to cut this off and eliminate any cause for additional moving forward, then my recommendation is let's just go disable the check valves and just keep going. Keeps contract going, gets a proper meter installation for you guys moving forward. Plus, we have the ability at some point in the future, if we so choose, to go reinstall all these pieces of parts.
Thanks for explaining that.
I guess in it, the lead line money that it's coming from, right?
There's a forgivable, which is grant money, and there's a zero interest loan. This will come out of the grant piece, not the loan piece.
Okay. So we're talking what, roughly?
$140,000.
Right. This is nothing, obviously, we had no expectation that this was gonna happen, whatever. But ultimately, when we sat in here and had the meeting initially about this being a problem, right? It was determined that this was essentially an oversight, for lack of better terms, on what setters were already existing. When the engineering component was built up and given to Atlas, it was with these setters because we didn't know what was there prior. Ultimately, that's a Commonwealth issue, but somehow they still get their money. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't come straight from Commonwealth. I know I understand someone's got to be paid, Atlas, i.e.,
So
but it's one of those, in any other situation, I just don't understand how it works, because in any other situation, right? If I messed up, that's on me. Right?
no, I get where you're going. So we didn't have meter centers before, right?
Yeah.
The meters were literally just in the pit, hard piped into the surface line. The selection of the meter center wasn't a Commonwealth decision, right? Your utilities got to pick the centers that they wanted. Now that individual's not here to defend themselves.
Sure.
I can design any type of center, right? I can also design any kind of widget, and if the operator's not happy with it, he's gonna make sure it doesn't work.
Right.
This is a situation where at the time, this individual's gonna have to work on them. Which one do you want? Okay, fine, we'll take it, right? Again, I had no expectation that
Right.
we're gonna have a dozen homes that had plumbing that weren't gonna stand up to putting this center.
No, I get that.
Counter to that, I've got 350 that are still okay, that haven't had issues. Now, some of those have proactively put those tapes in, so there's no way of knowing if they would have had issues or not. There's a handful of them that have had issues totally unrelated, but a vast majority haven't had issues, but we've had some that have.
Yeah.
And that's still a whole nother scenario, because
Yeah.
I haven't seen any claims yet. I've heard verbally that there's issues and damage, but I haven't seen or been told of any claims. That's a whole separate issue that's got to get addressed, right? But with respect to going in and modifying these setters, whether I pay them now or I would have baked it in the bid, the reality is, this isn't an Atlas thing. And I think you guys understand that.
And I think that's where I was going with it, right? Is when we sat in here and we had the conversation, hey, this is what's going on, this is what we're seeing, this is the post that we've been privy to from Aaron Meredith. And I asked you, I said, is this a Atlas issue? Because I feel like they should know the difference. You're like, as you know, as much as I like to say it's not, it's a Commonwealth issue on the engineering piece.
Well, I mean, yes, at the end of the day, we spec'd it, right? But that was collaboration. It's a collaboration with the project team, right?
Okay.
I didn't just randomly pick that meter set.
Right.
That was collaboration through Clerk and Rick. And I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, and I'm not gonna dispute what was spec, what was bid, and what was being installed.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, though,
That's what was chosen. And here we are.
no different than the water meters,
Right.
right? That's the ones they want.
Yeah.
It's not an Atlas thing. Now, granted, there were some issues that have come up that were Atlas things, and they'll take care of it. But at the end of the day, even going into this, if we were to go into this all over again, not anticipating that we would have back pressure issues, whether it be one house or a dozen or even 20 or 30, right? It's prudent from an engineering standpoint and industry practice to maintain backflow protection to your system.
Right.
So I'm not gonna not stand behind what was spec. Yeah, we've had some issues, but we've also got a solution, I think, that's reasonable, that affords you the flexibility to put it back the way it was before we make these adjustments in the future.
So it's prudent to have non-block backflow, but we're gonna disable it, so we're kind of back where we were. Am I right?
No, you're back to the way it was. You're back to the way it was before we started.
Well, we're not being prudent.
No, well, your system has functioned for 80 years, right?
So there was the potential for backflow.
There
prior.
was, absolutely.
All
And-
along, yeah.
All along there was.
Yes, and if we disable, we'll be right back where we were.
Same situation that you've been going along for the last 80 years.
We'll have the ability
You'll have the ability to
to get in if we.
put it back if you so choose. Like I said, whether it's this board or another board or whatever. All it takes is something to happen, right?
Mhm.
All it takes is one situation to happen. You'd be surprised how things are done. you know, all over the world, right? It takes one thing to happen and make people want to do something different.
i.e. international plumbing code saying that this is, yes. It just hasn't made it to
Is
the
it a
state yet.
county requirement? No, there's no county building code, and it's not even a state yet, but they all refer back to recommendations defined in the universal plumbing code. And when we do water loss audits and everything else, one of the boxes you gotta check is, do you maintain a backflow prevention, you know, procedures? Well, you can now, we'll be able to check that box.
We can say yes.
That we have a procedure that when and if we determine it's necessary, we have the ability to go put it in on every single property in this.
Any other questions?
No.
Do we want to make a motion on this now so Rob doesn't have to sit through?
I think I'm good with,
I'm good with your explanation.
Yeah.
I appreciate that talking to us.
Anytime.
I mean, I feel like we can reassure everyone that everyone will back where we were. The new centers aren't gonna be a problem. And I can confidently tell people that they're not gonna see that as a problem.
I am absolutely available to come to every single one. And you guys know that, and if you have an expectation that you want to see me, let her know, and she'll make sure I'm here. The other hat that I wear at Commonwealth is I've got Simeons and Rileys of the world too, that I'm trying to get them used. They've got to be put in uncomfortable situations. So I am going to, when I have opportunities to kind of dip their toes in the water, I'm going to have them come up. And it's not me disrespecting you guys at all. I'm trying to use it as a teaching. Regardless, right? You're my client, and if there's an expectation that you would rather see me because of my happy smiling face instead of those guys, you let me know and I'll be here in a hot minute. This is what I do. This is what I signed up for. I enjoy meeting and working with folks just like you guys. So, yeah, if you want to vote on the change order, if you're ready and comfortable with my explanation, that would be great. If you're comfortable with my recommendation on modifying the meter setters and want to vote on that tonight, that would be great also.
You have anything, Tina?
No, not on either.
Okay.
Well, yeah, actually, what if people who have those expansion tanks, if they say, I want the check valve in place?
I mean, there's so few of them. If you want, I could have Lance go do some door knocking and, or whoever, even Simeon. I think we want to get it in writing. You know how we had them sign right of entries so we could do the work? I think we take something very similar and have them, we're going to go do this for you guys. You have the tank. If you want us to keep the check valve in, just let us know. But we want you to sign this to say you declined us doing that.
Right.
You're assuming the responsibility that
Yeah.
goes along with it.
That's easy. I think we just modify one of those right of entry forms, modify the language on it and get the property owner to sign.
I'm just thinking people
Yeah.
think, I mean, if they
We
took the
can,
time.
we can go, we got the addresses, we know where all these tanks are at, we can go, I can send one of my guys out and do some door knocking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume we're gonna do them all with the people that have the tanks as the option, but they gotta put in writing that they decline.
Is there a date we need to have those by?
I'll have contractors skip them if I'm still chasing my signature.
Okay.
But
I just didn't know if it would be helpful to have a hard date.
It would, but there's so few of them, and I don't think it's gonna impact schedule.
Sure.
If for some reason I get grumbling, you know, oh, we're being delayed. If I can't nip it in the bud on my own without bothering you guys, then I'll come back and say, all right, let's give them another 30 days, and then we can use other means of notification. But
Okay.
I think we'll just start by having one of my folks go do some door knocking and talk to the people, and they'll know what we're doing.
Yeah, board. Can I get a motion on Atlas change order number 4?
I'll make a motion for that.
I'll say that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And all in favor of disabling the check valves for the residences through town other than the ones that we know of that have a expansion tank, and allowing them the opportunity to keep that in place?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?
I,
Alright. Anything else for Rob?
I can turn back on my phone, but I got the regular thing in front of me.
You want one of these signed?
Just, do you have the contract and sign that contract?
Yes.
That would be the one. I don't know if we want to print off the contract. You want to sign two of those, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't remember if I printed the one.
Is that the
Yeah.
original or?
No,
They're all,
they're all-
copies.
Okay.
They're all. copies. Nobody really truly needs wet ink anymore these days. But I'll have you sign two of those, and that way you can keep one, and I'll take one.
What month is it? It's May.
5/12. I can't believe it's. My kids only got 3 weeks of school. I know. That's crazy.
So I don't forget.
Yes. Mhm. All right. Do you have anything else for us, Rob?
I do not.
Thanks for coming.
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
All right. On to the clerk report.
Okay. So I know you're already tracking, but for the rest of you guys, the State Board of Accounts exit conferences tomorrow morning. Anybody that can attend, it's at 9 a.m. here.
Yeah, and then I'll be back on.
It'll be for 24 and 25. That's all finished up.
I can do that, do
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody who's
9.
able to, even if it's a quorum, it can still be executive, so, yeah, closed session.
We ended up getting you everything you need from that. Basically everything you need.
Yes, and then I'll, turn in that SRF disbursement tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Bison Financial Group had been in contact with me about, offering some free financial offerings for the employees. I asked about council members as well. That one, you want to keep it under. If anybody is interested, we could take up to 2 in that group setting. They'll provide a lunch and sit and just talk to everybody as a group. And then, if anybody's interested in learning a little bit more, they have a couple other sessions. These are all no charge to the employees or whoever, joins that. And then, from there, if after like the 3rd session, if you're interested in their actual financial offerings of different things, then I think they have their fees or whatever, but this is just, I've been talking to them a couple times. They've got a whole binder that they put out, and I thought it would be a good thing for the employees, especially we only have the 2 that are taking advantage, myself and one other that's taking advantage of the retirement option with the match. So just to make sure that all of them are understanding what there is available. So if anybody's interested in that, we can get a date together. On the agenda, some of the things I have on there, I have asked again for an executive session under new business to go over employee issues, having some issues with scheduling, where we're having scheduling of over 40 hours a week, having issues with getting receipts. I've created a binder for receipts now so they can come in, and when they bring me a receipt, they're writing it down, signing off that they handed it to me on what date that they handed it to me, just trying to keep some more tracking. And I'll let you guys look at this. Has the latest timesheets and scheduling that's in there. But just to go over some of those issues and work orders, working on that. but getting those in on time. One of the other things on the agenda was questions on it.
Doesn't mean you didn't clock in here.
Right, not on location, which, I know the guys had said that Austin said it was okay if they were checking in at the well house, which that's gonna cause them not to be on location if they're checking in out there. Phil said he's having trouble with it. I've been using it for quite a while. I can be at the bank doing the drop and still check in on location, so I don't know why they're having so much trouble with it, but I have told them if they're already at the shop, because I know that reception, the signal out there is a little bit wonky. I said, just clock in on the computer, because when they clock in on the computer, it actually doesn't show if they're on location or not, because it's hardwired in, so there's.
You're on one of our
Yeah,
pieces of equipment,
right.
so.
So I said, just clock in on that if you're having those issues, but. And then I also highlighted on there about you guys asked about setting the schedule, but if they're clocking in way before or way after, then what's the point of the schedule?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Do we have a written schedule out there that
That they can see. Well, so when they're creating it, yes, and then that should be posted, and I've even said that they could print them out just like I have and post it somewhere so everybody knows who's on and when. But then we also have the issue of the requests for time off. But then if you're requesting the time off, why are you working?
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on there that really needs to be.
get that honed down a little bit? Yeah, I agree.
And then, for the Parks Committee,
I'm not on.
That's me.
I know I'd mentioned something last time about needing a lot more information from them as far as assets, things like that. Well, Jim Schoen came knocking on the door the other day and he's like, the fence thing, so we're gonna have to add that to the insurance. And just, we was still thinking it was just gonna be the slab, not the post. Well, then also when thinking about that, I've said something to Shirley and Dawn as well, but we really need all that information from that contractor, all that stuff, because it is a town item. And we also need to make sure everything's ADA compliant because it is brand new. And hoping that that contractor understands all that, like not just the fence and the width and things like that, but it has to be accessible from the park. It has to be accessible to the parking area, even the water bottle filler. Which I believe Aaron Meredith, with some of his quotes, he does, for the bathroom down there, he was talking about the ADA compliance for under the sink. So he's got that information in there for that, but just making sure that all that stuff, especially before they get really far into it, and then it becomes even more. And then I'll also have to have the conversation with them. They applied for that grant with the community foundation, and how that's gonna work if they get that, and because it's gonna come to the town and it has to be dispersed out just like we do with the rest of the vendors. So we gotta make sure that those vendors are all approved and have all their, everything like that. That was one of those things. Treva was here and we were talking and it just randomly, I was like, I knew some of it, and then, yeah, we just kept adding to.
On my project one right now.
Yeah, so just getting with them and getting the communication in my office with them about all those things. Was also approached about the town hall crosses in the back.
Yeah.
There is an interested party who would like to take those off the town's hands. But I know with, like everything else, Ingrid and maybe getting with Ingrid and finding out how that works. I don't know anybody else who would want those. So I don't think that that would be a complicated process if you guys are good with that and getting with her just to see about being able to, that they're more than willing to come and take them out and,
The ones in the back?
yes. It's actually the ones who put them there. They're wanting them for another project, so. They know what it's made out of and how all that, and I thought that would be perfect to. And then also on the agenda, which will come in with our budget discussion, the rate studies intact, and, I've added on there Houston Electric, which you guys have that in your packet. Dustin got quotes for that. And you guys have seen those before with Kurt. That's the same company that he had presented.
Just the maintain.
I've just been told there's really not anybody else in the area. Even Treva's trying to find other people, but yeah, and it is something that's needed. Just have to find it in the budget for that. I've also got on here a missing fuel receipt on the agenda. It's in that packet, so. And that's another thing with the receipts, just there's part of the purchasing policy, which I've handed out hard copies of. They're supposed to turn in those receipts within 24 hours. So if I'm waiting for the WEX bill, and I'm just gonna have to get in the habit of every few days checking that and seeing if there's any that haven't been turned in, but getting that. So the rest of the items are gonna be more in with our budget stuff. So if we go into that, I've given you guys all an appropriation report. The big topic is the sanitation, the increased cost in that. And being able to cover that for the year. So the options are we're $9,708.80 short in that line for sanitation to cover the cost for the remainder of the year. So you would either need to find that somewhere else in the general fund, so any of the 1101s, or you can raise the rates to be able to generate that amount and then ask for an additional appropriation, so it doesn't touch any of the other lines in the general fund. Regardless, more than likely, you're gonna have to raise rates at some point to cover the cost because this is going to increase each year. It probably wouldn't be a good idea to, because I've looked at different scenarios, like you could take all 5 years and average it out and then come up with one rate, but yeah, the first couple years, it'd be great, you'd generate additional money but towards the end, you're not gonna have enough to cover, so
Yeah.
not something you wanna do. This is gonna be something you're gonna have to increase the rates more than once.
Can we do that at the same time we do our rate studies and just raising rates?
That's the other thing of, I was gonna have discussion too with those rate studies and the different entities there. The wastewater hasn't been looked at or touched in a while. And instead of, because we've already got the rate increase that's coming in January, you've got this, you've got, if you guys just rip the Band-Aid off and had the rate stay done for the water and wastewater, and then adjusted that into.
Mike, this is me not understanding. What's the volunteers allowances? Oh, is it?
Yeah, so all this is the fire
Oh,
department.
FD.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
No, it's a lot. There's a lot, and there's a lot of extra in there that could be deleted, but I wasn't adjusting the report. I was just spitting it out the way it comes out. And
Is this the sanitation, is that figuring out that we're not gonna do the cleanup?
right, yeah, the $9,708 is without the
Okay.
either any cleanup for this year. And then understanding that for next year's budget and where that's coming from, and that it's gonna increase in May of next year. So The 9,000 is just covering this
This one.
calendar year.
But this would have been a lot more cheaper than if we would have stayed with the public.
Oh,
It was about the same for a while. Okay.
What was no, it was all overall, it was more, Republic was more. than-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought, yeah.
What's the difference between repair and maintenance and then equipment repair?
So when you're
And-
looking at the lines, you don't have to get so caught up in, so everything that says 1101,
Uh-huh.
that's all the general fund. You can move these, when I do those
Yeah.
transfer resolutions, you could take it from here and you could put it over here. So the 1101 is the general, and then you're looking at those last numbers. So if it is, yeah, so when it's a 3,
Mm-hmm.
it's a service. When it's a 2, it's a supply.
Okay.
And 1s are personnel, which you're not gonna have everything, but, and then 4 is your capital outlays.
What do you mean by
The
That's-
the last 3 numbers.
so the 3 is a service?
Yeah, but if it ends in
Like
300,
360,
360, 390.
Yep.
Those are services.
which
Yeah,
is like,
that 300 number.
right here.
so I'm looking at
Just before the
repair and
decimal.
maintenance and equipment
Yeah, what
repair.
is it?
So right here, 360,
Oh, okay, that's the same.
and then this one is a 260.
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong spot.
So the 200, the supplies, that's where we're going and we're buying something and the guys can put it on, but you're buying a product, a material
Okay.
versus the 300s, that's Matt Hall's coming out and doing
Okay,
something.
that makes sense. I'm just thinking like those two.
Yeah,
Then we got 13 and 14, and we're at 96%. 96 and
I remember we reworked everything and kind of
98.
moved things around, so it is wonky and
Okay.
we're still, yeah, gonna be able to move some of that money and adjust based on, we didn't need so much in supplies and we need more in services or,
mhm.
but regardless, any of those that start in the 1101, you can move around amongst each other. But then when you move down into the pages and you get to the 6101 or the 6202, that's water and wastewater, and that's, you can't
They
move
gotta stay there.
101 to, yeah.
Is there anything that you've like jumped out to you that you're like, oh, we could probably move from this or that?
To the trash.
Yeah. No? Okay.
Because we are still gonna have to move stuff for, so the toilets,
Right.
all of it, that has to stay in the general. You can't spend out of water or wastewater for that. So we'll have to move some money to.
How much are we paying to them? Is that on here?
She is being paid out of water at the moment. We're splitting that between, but it's just been one of those.
How much longer are we gonna move her?
She will be reduced down hopefully next year only to budget and, the annual financial report.
Okay,
And that's out of 2201. And water, you said?
Water is 6101.
Oh, sorry.
And we need how much?
To cover for this year,
Nine,
$9,708.
Department 200, is that streets or?
Yes, so that's Public Works, yeah.
what do we use for cleaning services?
So that was budgeted for, because we thought we'd be over in the other building. We'll probably be pulling some of that to cover the rent for here.
Okay.
Until we do get. Because I think we transferred enough to cover the rent through this month, and then we're back to, we're gonna need it.
Okay. What about the promotional? I know I don't suggest draining it, but
So the promotional is Discover Oxford,
Yeah.
employee, if you
Yeah.
did employee stuff, or, yeah.
yeah, you
Maybe
can.
so.
Oxford, we stayed at the same this year as we
Yeah,
did last
$1,000, which is on there.
That was Discover Oxford. We have usually the rodeo. I think the school, sometimes the graduation, which they didn't send out anything for the after party thing yet. Mhm.
Let's try the marshal for other services. What does that mean?
Is there money that's been spent from that? There's
No,
probably,
100%, I just didn't know what that was
Oh.
for.
so if it just didn't fall into a service that was already up there, so what other services are?
Is it for machinery?
Let's get my report.
Like if we go over on fuel or we have
Is that what you're
a
looking for, stuff like that?
repair.
It could be if they just had somebody, so like the golf cart registration signs,
Okay.
we might end up putting those in the other or something, if it was an off.
Now, how does that money we get from the registrations, where does that go?
For people bringing that, it comes into the general fund, it'll
Oh.
get receipted into the golf, we have a golf cart fund.
You know,
That fund,
$1,000.
But that does count, all of those things count as the revenue coming in to create the budget for next year. So even on the trash service, so we generated a little bit more last year because you guys had adjusted those rates so that, because they weren't adjusted the previous years, and the town was paying more of that cost. So when adjusting that, it gave a little bit more revenue, but that revenue is how you create the budget for the next year. So just doing that 9,000, okay, now you've brought the line back up, but if there was 11,000 extra last year from the revenue, and now you're just breaking even,
Right.
you're not gonna have that additional
Not for next
revenue next year to,
With the 5% increase that we anticipate.
right.
Following.
Hear me out, I'm very impulsive.
And you guys don't have to make decisions
Right.
on it, just
Should
to,
we, I mean, I like looking at this, but should we kind of wait to see what our rate study is and, or do we have to really hone down on this sanitation? I don't know how long it's gonna take.
so you're short 9,700, so that's basically a month, a little bit more. The monthly bill is 8,610. So yes, you guys could wait, but the longer you wait, the less you're gonna get
Right.
to split that.
But I
You're
don't
gonna make
wanna
a
make
higher.
an educated guess and raise it,
Yeah.
3%, really, we only need one, or, whatever, I'm just throwing out numbers.
I think I was going off of, so some of the things you might want to consider.
Mhm.
Right now, there's a senior discount and there's a regular. We've got, so for this month, we had 540 users that were billed for sanitation. When you split that up, if you've got we had, I think, 61 that were on the senior. So that's a $2 difference. So you can't just split it among
Right.
all of them to come up. If you took away the senior discount and put everybody at a flat rate, I'm not saying to do that, but if you did, it would be like to cover this, maybe a little bit more, $17
Hmm.
to get June through the rest of the year to cover the 8 months that are.
This is uneducated and very impulsive. If we took 2708 from the promotional, that leaves us what, 7? We did 3,500 apiece on whatever this equipment repairs and repair and maintenance is under public works. But I don't know, like, that's why I lean on you so heavily, because you know, kind of know how those end at the end of the day. I don't know if that would sell us short later on in the year for something else that we're reappropriating funds to.
So like the generator wouldn't come out of, because that's all water and wastewater. So it'd be like your services.
Yeah.
Parks, anything.
For that 360, that,
So that money would cover the bathroom.
Right, yes.
so right now we're at 12,827 in that line, that 360
But
line.
you're gonna take off the bathroom. Though.
Not
Well,
the-
that's what I'm saying.
But out of the 300 shares, you wouldn't take the actual toilets that were purchased, because those are supply.
That would come out of the other one,
But
Yeah.
Aaron's quotes for the,
which is
for the
750 and
labor,
550.
yeah.
12,827.
What is yes. I know this is public works equipment repair. Is that take out the trucks, the backhoe?
That'd be the trucks, the backhoe, the
That would make
lawnmowers.
me a little nervous just because everything's so old. And then they kind of wait too long to get them fixed. We run into a bigger.
I believe $8,000 in that.
Yeah.
After those and 3,500.
And how you guys are working this even, if you want to do a little bit from each, maybe, again, maybe you just decide we're not gonna do the senior discount anymore, and we just raise those, and then we get the rest of the revenue from, or if you
I
really wanna
don't
keep
really
this.
like raising the seniors
senior.
and nobody else. I don't think that's gonna be prudent. If we're gonna raise, we're gonna need to raise everybody.
Let's see what else we got here.
Now, if we have to do a raise, I assume do it on everybody and
Do
do
everybody.
just the seniors. 'Cause
Historically speaking, you may not be able to answer this, but how often do they use the full 13,000 for opposite and operating over there at Public Works?
I probably wouldn't be able to tell you, just because the previous years were really
Wonky,
wonky.
yeah.
And that's why we're still kind of off, but that's where we do our, even if something's heavy, we do those transfer resolutions all throughout the year just to move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So even
readjust.
if we took,
we took some out of that.
well, I was thinking instead of 3,500 and 3,500, bump those down to 2,500, 2,500, and then 2,000 out of.
And that's public works in the general,
Yeah.
and that's, 1101, 200.
Yeah.
So
So what I'm,
111.
Okay.
those two, and then, yeah, 210.
yeah, that could probably,
We're just trying to bump those down, because then
Yeah,
that would, but that would still only leave
Is it,
9,000. Yeah, 9,077, and that's in the subscription or the services portion.
I don't think there's anything that we take out of Marshall because he's. pretty
Yeah,
much
he's-
skin and bones.
Yeah.
And are you skin and bones up here? What is that right here?
in the 100, I can tell you more what I'm gonna be, what would be taken out of those, so. I don't know how I do. Let me grab-
I'm like him. I'd rather find this 9,000 now, and then if we have to raise rates, we'll be more educated.
Do it with the others.
Promotional's the stuff that, like the donations. So the way it stands, like the way that I'm just saying out loud would be, I mean, 2,708 out of that, which would leave us at a little under 5,000.
I think that would be okay, because we don't want to give, we don't give the fire department, but that's just $200.
We got the
Fire
the
department, the rodeo,
rodeo.
Lions. Also, like, Aaron takes out of that for the Halloween trick or treating candy, stuff like that. It's nothing, it's nothing.
So would you leave it at, because right now there's $7,202 in there. Would you leave it at 27? Well, that would take less than
Oh, no.
2708.
No, leave, yeah, I see what you're saying, yes. Yeah, I was doing it backwards.
No, you're
Yeah, we're gonna take 5.
Yeah,
no, we're gonna take 2708.
yeah, take 2708 out of that, and then the other two that we talked about.
That's at least 4,000.
I think that would
And
be
that's where
okay.
you're leaving them right in the,
$4,000, a
Yeah.
little, just
A little over.
over,
yeah.
just under
And
5.
then we just be frugal when we're being generous promotionally. And people just need to understand.
We also do library too, but that's just like $100 a year. We do something for library. When they run do
It might just be 100 or.
Yes, it's pretty minimal.
I will say in this, insurance and bonds, that one's one where we may end up needing more money to go into.
We're already,
We never know that one until
Yeah.
the end of the year.
It's high to start with.
I mean, we need to sell one of these parks off. About 5 parks. Well,
What else is?
so that would leave, if we did 2708 out of the promotional, I'd leave $4,494 in there.
how much do you give the radio?
500?
Yeah, I think 1,000 is the max that you guys have went on
Okay.
anything, so.
That looks a pretty good thing.
664. So then, under Public Works, the very top line, office and operating. I mean, shoot, just taking 2 out of that,
Not even used hardly anything out of there.
Yeah.
so that would leave 10,664.06. And if we need to, we could pull from that for equipment repairs or something if we needed to,
Mhm.
or we could just remove some of, because right now, as it stands, I've got 2,500 out of equipment repair, 534.
So like right now, we need 2,000 to go into the other supplies and charges. Cause that one with the
Yes,
encumbrances
the 991.
and the line above it.
Oh, I didn't see
Yeah,
that one.
there's 2 of those, so we need, and those would probably be where I take it from, the office operating.
So then,
Some of the things that we've talked about selling off, we've talked about it numerous times.
that's what we need to
Actually
do.
move on it and get that done.
We need that list. And that's where I was thinking the crosses too. We've got somebody that's already interested. If we could wrap all that up and get all that out.
Don't you get a number on that? Are they willing to, they want them to just be donated, or would they willing to pay for them? The crosses.
I felt that that would be a mutual
Just you can have it.
benefit between the two,
Yeah.
because the cost of having something like that removed,
Okay.
that's where
Yes.
I was
I was
thinking
looking
we
at
were
that.
going.
Um,
And then they were like something that they want.
And they would, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the truck that's down there, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not
we've
gonna
asked
make
her-
thousands, but when.
What do we,
Let's get it out of there. It's an
And we've
eyesore,
asked-
plus we could get something.
The Sterling.
And the Sterling.
Now, that money then,
would go to general, or
it goes right back wherever it was purchased from. But then it doesn't go into this pool for this year
Right.
unless you want to do a
That's
different
okay.
appropriation. But yes, it
It'd be
would,
better.
it would be
That's
revenue that
because
would
we're
be
gonna
in.
have a raise the 5% next year on sanitation. So it'll be there to move for another
We
time.
really have to emphasize on them. I know we've asked several times when we get a list. We've done that for the last year and a half.
Do they have to provide us a list? Or, I mean, cause I could go down there and say, you're not using that, you're not using that, you're not using that.
Yeah, we just need,
I mean,
I think Ingrid said, like, if it's vehicles, we probably need a VIN number and
I can get all
a
that.
description and, yeah.
I could come up with a list and then just say, hey,
I was
do
gonna
you
say,
guys say anything, or do you guys have any rebuttals on this list? And they're gonna, I have to tend to say
It's
no.
okay if we do it, but. I'll forget it.
Just frustrating of doing.
Because really, that's really not our
Job, yeah,
our
no,
job.
I agree.
it's not.
But if we need the
But
money.
the more times we do that, then that creates problems.
How do we, I know we talked about it a little bit, a couple weeks ago. How do we go about designating someone to create the account for Gov Deals?
Yes, I can put that on the agenda if you want for the next meeting
Yeah.
and just get
I
a,
think we have to have something.
somebody's the
and give them a date.
signatory, the person to
Yeah.
designated to set that account up for the town on behalf of the town and all that. If you're wanting to, is that?
I would like to get that ball rolling. I mean,
I mean, you guys,
and then that saves us money through Ingrid as well, her having to set something up like that.
I mean, work with them.
you can even add that, that's one if you wanted to.
I know you are, yeah, also put that, you know, so it's,
Under new.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it above the park.
I'll go let that part tomorrow morning.
I think we have to have something in writing and give them a clear directive and a date. And if it's not done, then
I'll talk to Dustin
there'll be consequences.
tomorrow. I mean, because he's supposed to be helping them set goals. That's gonna be,
Well, I would think you guys could agree tonight to set a date that it is gonna be done.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
But we need to have it written so they can sign it. And if it's not done, then that's what we're gonna have to do.
that you've sat down with them on this date,
Mhm.
and said this is what we need, and by this date,
And
for
we
the
can,
council.
we can write something up and have it ready to go for Monday's meeting.
yes,
I think that's, I mean, we can go down there all day long,
yeah, but that's not.
because it's not really helping the cause.
Real quick, back to this 9,708. So as it stands, 2708, this is just me, like I said, spitballing, 2708 out of promotional, I believe $4,494 in that currently. If we go to the second page, if we pulled 2,000 from office and operating, that'd leave $10,664.02. And like Tina said, she's still gonna have to pull from that for a couple of the lines farther down, which is other supplies and charges, as well as other services, which are negative right now. And then if
What
we,
is, what is this other service that are we in the hole?
That one is, so the other supply charges is the toilets.
Okay,
Just caused that to go in the negative, and then the other services was. Those just came up, so. That one, actually, I know that one is where Centos is at too, so it's gonna be, but then we pulled something else out of there because it didn't
yeah,
make sense.
it's chemicals, they haven't spent any money on chemicals, are they not ordering chemicals?
So this would be for the general, so this would be your park, so
Okay.
this is the mosquito spray or
Okay, that's
the
not the chemicals for
Roundup
water.
and things like that.
That's gonna
No.
be in water. and wastewater.
Right, yep.
So, at the same time though, have we not ordered chemicals for like spraying or mosquitoes or? That's gonna be a problem.
write that down for
Especially being as last year, you remember Terry, I was talking to you about how much Roundup we had purchased. We'd already done just a crazy, I'm surprised we don't have some left based on the amount that we purchased last year. but-
Oops, yeah, that's why it hasn't been purchased this year.
No, it's not been used. Eli handpicked the weeds out yesterday.
Yeah, I picked the ones that were on the top because they were getting pretty tall.
Okay. So, yeah. 2708 through,
Monthly.
Yes.
promotions, 2,000 from office and operating
You're
leaves,
halfway there.
leaves 106406.
Okay.
2,500 from equipment repair leaves $11,034.87.
Is that good?
20
$2,000.
2,500 from repair and maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leaves 10,327.17.
I agree.
And that puts us there, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That puts us at
Our 9,000.
$9,708. My question though for you is, what are your concerns about that?
The only concern I would have is because I know that, okay, so another one that's going to be, that's gonna fall short is hydrant rentals on page 2.
Yeah, I saw that.
That
We've
is,
already used 100%.
and that, it's gonna fall short. That's
Right,
yeah. Because the rate increase, when the water rate increased and the number of hydrants increased with the project.
Can we look at that though when we do a rate increase? Because we're going to have to.
So that rate increase, this is the town. So some towns, what they do is they charge a fee to the residents to pay for the hydrant costs.
Right.
Oxford does not. Oxford pays their hydrant fees themselves. So they all come out of general and it gets paid to the water.
What is the penalties for requesting an additional appropriations for this 9708?
There's no penalties. You just have to show that you have the money. So you would have to raise the rates and say, by raising the rates, it's gonna generate this
Oh,
much
so we
money.
can
And
replace
then
it.
you can request the additional appropriation. But if you don't have.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you have to be able to show that you have the money.
The additional income.
Mhm. Or in the case where we did the additional appropriation for MVH and that money's in that fund, it just didn't transfer over, so it was an automatic, yes, they approved it because that money's there.
there.
Yeah,
Now, another concern, right, is where are we paying for this rate study out of?
so that's when you get over into the 6101 and the 6201. So part of a good thing with the water rate study, at least, is if everything goes as planned and SRF and you guys approve that project and it goes forward, you don't have to pay for that rate study until the funding comes in. So that's how this one was done too. So that would just be sitting there until funding comes in and then they would get paid. But if you guys did go ahead and choose to have a wastewater study, you would need to make sure you have that available. Or if you think that you're on the fence still about the project, then you would still want to know where's it going to come from if you decide.
Yeah,
to
that's
back out.
my angle, is knowing that we have that money in case we do decide to back out.
I think we need to be the right thing about it.
Which both of those are right here.
And then the tricky part with the
That's plain Peter and,
Crone.
with the water is because we already are with SRF. We have to make sure and maintain a percentage in that at all times.
What is it?
Because because we already have the obligation with SRF, we have to be at a certain percentage at all times in that fund. So we just, whatever you guys decide, we'll have to go look at it and make sure that it's going to work. And not bring us below, because then we're not in compliance and. Because right now,
They're not gonna do it with state, right?
no,
no, intact, that's 10 part.
Right.
plain Peter wins.
We got
Was this quote just on the water?
For Klein Peter?
Yeah, so that's not just water, because, yeah. So
at least
this-
that's what it says up here.
When you read in,
Ask them.
read into it, it has, he does list,
Specifically, we will perform the following services.
because they even have the, asset management plan listed in that too. Klein Peter does.
That's something we're gonna need to look at too.
It's in there in the, because that would, they have to.
Yeah. I'm just,
And that's who came and talked to us, isn't
Yes.
it?
So the way I read this is a 14.
today's the 12th.
No,
Oh,
the
sorry.
way I read this is at least 14, or sorry, 16. We got not to exceed 12 and not to exceed 4. And then their principal, senior staff, and associate staff is hourly.
Nothing in the packet, I mean.
Is that the way you guys are reading that?
Yeah.
So is this a base rate and then we gotta pay for this?
That's the way it reads to me.
Yeah.
So at least 16. I guess not to exceed. What's that? You were taking notes? Oh, all right.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
you.
Think that ready for what?
Sitting around there.
Yeah, we are gonna need one of those stuff, cause I know
I
that.
travel in my head when I walk out.
All right.
Oh, that's your statement, though.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do that.
I see Klein Peter. I mean, both in their study and their
We
fees. on
ain't
top
there
of-
yet.
I'm just telling you my feelings.
I agree.
So are we thinking pulling those numbers from those line items,
Yes,
or are we?
yes.
For the
Then
general.
we're gonna make a motion for
So I wrote everything
that.
down.
And you can
I'll
make
get
that
a transfer resolution.
for Monday.
Yes,
Okay.
and then to move everything, all that money
And
over into
do you want us to
sanitation
vote on
line.
this tonight?
This stuff,
Or do we, can we wait till Monday?
Water rates.
you guys can look over this more if you want and
I've decided. So
I'd like the time.
Butch, what do you think?
Me?
I said, Butch, what do you think?
what do you like? Klein Peter? Well, because their initial fee for the study was 4,000.
Yeah.
And these guys are
And 12.
12. Well, it can vary.
I mean, I don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
and talk, because I talked to both of them.
yeah.
Klein Peter only does water and wastewater. That's all you guys are concerned with at the moment. Whereas Crone is a bonus because they will deal with the general fund, but we have Creever right now, so it's not that would be something you'd want, maybe if
Yeah.
Creever was no longer around and somebody to help out with us. That's it, yeah. Otherwise, Klein Peter recommends.
Find Peter do the asset management as well. We need that.
They have, They've listed it in there.
Yeah.
It
I
is,
think at some point we'll need to.
that's
we
the
need that right now.
12,000. It's all part of, it's done separately, but you have to have it for the SRF. Okay, so it would be in with that. So at that point, if you, yeah,
And since it's part of the SRF, can we get that covered under some of that grant money?
that's, it tells you in there that it come out the band or the bond, yeah, the bands.
So, I mean, I don't know that there's a whole lot of reason to wait.
No, I'm okay.
No, I'm good with it.
Can I get a motion on the water rate study proposal? Go ahead, sorry.
Is this for them to do water and wastewater?
Do we, okay, now,
Let's find that money.
that's what I was gonna say. How much additional would that be, or would it
Can
double?
we just vote on the water study now, or is it just better to do it both at the same time? 'Cause, I mean, I guess we're gonna raise, we just wanna raise it once, we don't wanna water it.
Not to exceed 4,000.
Do we need
And the
to,
other 6 to 8,000.
I guess my question is, do we need to check with them to have them add in wastewater to that contract before we
Yeah.
make a
I can do
motion?
that and bring that to you guys on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll table water rate study proposal.
And if you have that answer, then we can vote with knowledge on Monday and
Yeah.
be done.
Get all the specific,
Right.
get that drilled down. Yeah.
So moving to intact, because we skipped
Yes.
it.
I don't think right now we get going forward on that.
And all the additional stuff, the only thing I would, is that ADA. That's it.
I think we would put him off till we find out what our rate study is and stuff like that. I wanna go.
I'm just getting nervous about the pickleball court. I don't know enough.
Why don't we
Right.
get that information first, we just jump into Beverly Hills? I'm pretty sure they made that ADA compliant,
Okay.
but we can get you that information.
Cause I just.
Yeah.
Know that there's people in town that.
Oh, I agree. I don't disagree.
From the looks of the photos they gave us for the sidewalks and everything, they look like they're gonna be. Now, I didn't obviously see.
Usually it's like the.
I would assume that,
connecting
I would
from
also
the
assume that the
to it, that
engineer,
It has to be
would have put
ADA
that.
compliant to get to those places. And even the gravel parking lot, like that stuff, like it
Well,
specifies not to be used gravel. So I'm like,
well, it's semi-paved. I don't know, is there gravel?
Yeah, there's gravel out there.
It's gonna gravel where they're gonna put stuff in.
That lot is,
Well, I know, I would rather wait till we find out from them their information.
For
so,
sure.
so table intact again.
I mean, yeah,
Sorry, Pat, but
yeah.
yeah, the rest of the stuff I would definitely, that is the only one that I'd be like.
Quote both quotes are here from Aaron Meredith for Rommel Park and Old Academy Park for the labor charges of installing flush valves and toilets, relocating one urinal to a lower position on the boiler's room.
I would make a motion now.
I just wanna say, I don't believe that that's the one for Old Academy. Remove existing urinal,
Yes.
install new urinal, but it doesn't state. the
Lowering
purchase-
it or,
Purchase of the new urinal, because we haven't purchased that.
Correct.
That's the only thing I'm not sure about on that one.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and do Round Park?
yeah, we can approve that one.
Let's do Round Park and until we find out about, yeah.
If you guys wanna approve that one, if it's with the urinal, and then if not.
Maybe we
bring
can
it
find out.
Contingent of.
Yeah.
Approval contingent of with the
And I'll
urinal.
just
I
bring
would
it
assume
if
it
it's
wouldn't
not.
be. Yeah, can I get a motion on the labor for Rommel Park?
I'll make a motion for him.
All in favor?
Aye.
And do we want to make a motion for Old Academy contingent on cost of urinal being included or not? I would assume
Yeah,
this
I
is not.
On the first one, though, does it include the toilet?
They've already
No.
been purchased for the
Okay,
first
yeah,
one.
okay.
And that's, yeah.
Yeah, so I would assume that this one has not been.
Right,
But it does say labor and materials, estimate for
I
labor
know,
and
that's what I was
materials.
like.
Okay.
Is it?
Cause he has removal existing urinal, install new urinal.
Can we just approve this on Monday? We'll find out. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So table that for Monday.
Health instruction, we need to get that information.
They did say they would get that to you, didn't they? They just haven't yet.
Yes, and
The
they,
contract and all that.
yeah, they brought me something, but it's not
While Tina's looking for that, we're adding a signatory for someone to create a Gov Deals account
Mhm.
in lieu of the town. I'm more than willing to do it,
Okay.
but we need to vote
I'll
on
make a
that.
motion to make you signatory.
I second.
All in favor?
What's this new town hall item?
that was the crosses
Okay.
and, yeah. And we'll
I'll
just get
make a
that,
motion to let them come and take the cross.
Sure. And I will second.
We need to,
we gotta put that on,
Monday's agenda?
we'd have to.
Ingrid, yeah,
What
add
do you
that
call
to
it?
the,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, well,
add that to the list. But just wanted to see if you guys were okay with.
Yeah,
and then Houston,
Houston Electric Service. Not including materials. That's $920.
you got a total on all of them.
$920
What's the one?
per year, one per year inspection for a minor and then a maintenance and a test operation.
Is that just for
This is just for them to come out and look. It's always
is
been,
it is that for all of them or?
No,
Yes,
that's
per
one.
Item, right?
And
This
here's
is-
one back here for
Yeah.
775.
Yeah, there's 920.
one is for the fire department.
Yeah.
Two, I believe, are water. Yeah, two are water and
The one
one
that's-
wastewater.
Dang, that's a lot.
Are these relative to new generators? They're gonna buy new generators.
I don't remember.
I think it was in Toy Story, didn't it?
I'm not sure how.
You know, if,
920,
is it your admin? All the numbers, I'll add them.
920, 395, and 7. Sorry,
And remember, these are gonna be separate though,
775.
there you go.
because
3,000.
this one comes out of wastewater.
Right.
This one comes fire department, because that's their generator.
Right.
And then these two come out of water
Right.
services.
Well, we're looking at the total there, right?
Total, but it'll be split
Yeah.
3 different places.
Yeah.
Come out of different pockets.
So you're talking $3,010 for the year.
I'll go ahead and make.
Do you have concerns about that at all?
No, it's the
What
only,
have to have. I'll make. a
just
motion
knowing that it's,
that
Taken care of.
generators,
Okay. Can I get a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Do we need to schedule an executive session regarding the employee issues?
And do we also need to have a performance review, or
Yeah, I thought that was one thing we were gonna do.
we need to have dates for both of those things?
When do we want to have those?
I'm gonna be gone next week. Not all week.
I will be
Towards the end
gone.
of the week.
I'll be gone all week.
The week to follow then?
We just need to try to get this going.
So the week of the 18th you're gone?
I'm gonna be here during the
You'll
first
be
part
here
of
for
the,
the town board
Yeah,
meeting, but then
yeah,
the rest of the
after
week not.
yeah.
So,
I'll probably leave Thursday,
oh,
Thursday or Friday.
so Tuesday or Wednesday next week?
I won't be able to make it,
You're
but
not, you're not available.
if you guys
Later
are,
this week?
no,
No.
it's commencement, so
Oh, no, never mind.
yeah, I'm toast. I mean, if you guys want to get it done next week and
You guys know you can do unconventional days and times too, like if it's Saturday, Sunday, if that works out for you guys. Just
I have to.
I know, I said, that's
Yeah.
not gonna work for you.
Yeah.
No.
just throwing that out there, if there's ever a morning,
How many
evening,
graduations they do?
whichever.
Nine?
9.
Are you gonna Monday or second?
Yeah,
Can we do it before then?
I could probably make that work.
Like at 6?
Or
Yes.
Before our meeting on Monday?
Do we need more time?
No, we don't need more time.
No more than an hour?
Oh, I didn't make any more time.
Oh, no.
I know we can do 5:30, I'm okay.
I'm
I'm
available.
there
whenever
before.
you want me.
Oh, I'm on vacation, so,
You want to do 5:30
yeah.
on Monday?
5:30.
So the 18th at
I'm
5.
assuming you won't be able to. You'll probably be in the field, won't you?
Well, we're done, but we're talking replant now, so
Okay.
So maybe, that's a
that's a
hard,
maybe.
a hard maybe, on Monday, the 18th at,
We just gotta
5:30.
decide when we're
5:30.
gonna do it. So,
Does that work
Mhm.
with you? Okay.
And then what do we need to do about the missing field this year?
I just need you guys to approve. I want something in the minutes saying that you guys have seen that, it's missing. He wrote off the explanation that he has and that you guys are gonna approve that so that I can pay that bill. It'll be on the claims on Monday,
Does
Or-
he even know where he got it from?
yeah,
right here at the marathon.
Okay, so,
Cause I can see all that. I can see the date, time. I gave him all the information and asked him to go. Asked them to get him a copy and he said that they couldn't because it was too.
Can we make a motion to
Yeah, can I?
accept the missing fuel receipt? So you go ahead and pay.
I
Yeah.
will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right at the end.
Any around the table concerns at all?
Is it appropriate to talk about an hour early, not at the moment?
Yeah, probably.
That's-
If,
I know.
no, Tina, you got anything? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
All in favor?